Okay, welcome you guys to Let's Talk Sistas with Bree and T. I'm T.
And I'm Bree.
And oh yeah, girl, it was crazy tonight. I was into it.
I was too. And I knew Andy was going to be the dumb one.
Yep.
And she didn't fail me.
Nope. 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 She's so freaking scared of Gary that she ended her relationship just like that with Jordan.
And I don't feel bad what's about to happen to that girl. Like I said, she's a life insurance policy just basically sitting in Gary's lap pretty much.
Ooh, child. I can't believe that they actually did that. I guess Tyler want to put this girl back in Gary's orbit. I'm just like, really? This dude is he that p-whipped in so many words, but you say it's insurance policy, but girl.
I don't think he cares about her like that because if he wanted her, he could have popped up every single night at his house that she's living in. And I don't know. There's if he wanted to be with her, he really could have, especially since she opens that door for this man every chance that every chance that she gets.
Right.
So, and the fact that it took a little threat and then she broke up her relationship with Jordan, she wants this man.
Yeah. I mean, she should have figured out a way to fight, to do something. I mean, you that scared of Gary that you just drop your relationship to go put on a face with Gary? Girl, did you see that preview for next week?
And he had the Mr. Rogers sweater on.
He come and she threw that arm up under him so fast, and they looking like, what the heck? Girl, okay, so here's my thing. They gonna know something is up. Because she didn't just do a 360 just like that. You know what I'm saying?
And the team had picked up on that. She knows something's up, especially after Andy was crying in the office.
Exactly. It makes zero sense to me that, yeah, I'm curious to see how this gonna play out. Something is gonna have to give, or Fatima gonna do something, or whatever. But yeah, she kicked Jordan to the curb just like that because of Gary. Now, again, she said that he's trying to ruin her life. So, I guess I'm trying to remember. Did he have some other stuff on her?
I don't think he really did. I think he's just holding that threat over her. But that's the thing though. He has the access to bug her office, bug the house that she's living in, everything. Mm-hmm. So she leaves that wide open for this man to get all this extra information. That's how he found out that Penelope is alive.
Right.
She's not the smartest person in any room. That's why she's about to get the biggest okie doke of her life. And he's going to try to unalive her.
Yep. Yeah, this is about to get real ugly. I mean, and the thing is, what did you think about Fatima missing to be with Zach to figure out Andy's problems?
That's usually what she does to begin with. As soon as she saw Andy cry like a little puppy dog at her office, she was quick to be the bulldog and dive right in to see what was going on with her. Mm-hmm. And I actually didn't feel it was all that necessary for Fatima to be at that ultrasound. Okay. Maybe that's just me. Okay. It was really meant, as long as both of the fathers were there, I think, that should have been fine. Or she could have been the one watching Zach's son. Mm-hmm. I don't know why she didn't do that. But, she was going to protect Andy, as she always does, because Andy will always run behind Fatima, because that's all she can do is cry and run behind this other woman.
Yeah.
Can never handle anything for herself.
Yeah, and she was pissed off that old girl, what's her name, Deja?
Yeah, the one
That
who had her bra showing.
yeah, that chest was. She was well. I mean, he did exactly like she said. You said find somebody to watch the kid, and he found the closest person he could find. Now she expected him to call her other friend, which he said, I didn't even think about that. I didn't expect him to think about her friend either.
Or, I mean, look, he found somebody so he can make the appointment. I just don't see why she didn't make herself available, but made herself available to see what was going on with Andy.
Now I do know she was still at work, but I mean she had the option to leave work to go with Zach. She could have had the option to go home and sit with the baby too.
Right,
Mhm.
exactly.
Mhm.
But I mean, at least she didn't get too mad. She was like, "Okay, I understand." She didn't blow up in his face.
Mhm.
She just took it on the chin, like, "Hey, he just did what he could to go check out the ultrasound."
Yep.
And Karen was very mature to at least invite Fatima to the ultrasound.
Yeah. Her and Danny seem to be trying to turn over a new leaf too. What did you think about the conversation between the two ladies?
I was surprised that they came to an agreement. I'm really trying to understand Karen's point of view, but I still don't. I think Danny was just trying to keep it real, and I think she feels that Danny was putting some things in Zach's head, even though he was curious about his own paternity of his child. But I think I think Karen feels that Danny derailed her plans of Zach being the father of both of those kids without him worrying about a DNA test.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Danny was like, look, this girl is trying to play you. You need to go get a DNA test to figure out whether or not you the father of them kids. And she got pissed about that because she, as you probably, saw in the previous episodes, her idea was to stick that baby on Zach. She didn't want Aaron anywhere near this whole thing
Exactly.
until this DNA test proved that not only she got one baby, she got two, and both of those kids got different dads. Yep.
And that was the whole purpose of. Thankfully, Danny at least said something because, like, look, they wouldn't even have known that. Zach would have assumed that he had two kids by
Yep.
this woman.
Yep. So I mean, they hashed it out. They definitely had a moment where, Danny aired out some things and put some stuff on the table. She said something about the fact that um they made her feel like she's the lowest on the totem pole. And honestly, in my opinion, and I know, we've had this conversation before, I think Danny, amongst all four of them, tends to be the voice of reason.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not, they make her feel like she's lowest on the totem pole. I think they make her feel that way because they don't want to listen to her, even though some of the stuff she's being real with them about. What do you think?
And I think maybe that's just a little too much, too close for comfort because Karen's end goal was always Zach.
Mm-hmm.
And I think anybody who had an input, I don't think it was just Danny, anyone who had an input that was against her was an issue. And I think she also brought that up, like she felt betrayed, that she felt that her friend didn't have her back. But I mean, Danny was actually looking out for the child's best interest because actually Karen didn't even know she was carrying twins.
No.
And this really did require for everyone involved to know what was going on. I mean, Aaron is now in the picture, and now he has a child.
Right.
Like, this benefited a lot of people to know the paternity, whether Karen didn't like the outcome or not. I mean, it's either about her or it's about those kids.
Exactly. And I think also because she said the girls made her feel like she was at the lowest, and they do. They every time, from what I remember in my perception, what I've been seeing is every time when Danny tried to speak reason into the group, they try to shut her down, or Danny, don't say that, or Danny, be quiet, or don't do this, or don't do that. And of course, Karen is more vocal about it. She get pissed off and just say something. So, I guess my thoughts on is that even though she felt low, they just didn't want to hear her advice in most cases. Because I mean,
They'd want to hear the truth.
exactly.
Because the truth sometimes hurts, but it's necessary. And I don't think Karen was ready to handle all that. But I wonder if it would have been nice if the other ladies would vocalize about the whole fraternity and not put the whole blame on Danni trying to push for the paternity test, because her friends knew how she was getting down too.
Now she also brought up something else. So, Danny was like, "Now I kind of know how you feel about Fatima because that girl Tiffany is back in Tony's life." And she
Oh
said,
boy.
"Yeah, we got to talk about that too." And she said that if one of y'all would become friends with Tiffany, I would be feeling some kind of way too. However, I don't know why, and Karen knows better than this. I don't know why she putting that friendship all off on Danny. Andy and Fatima were friends way before the other girls of this group became friends with Fatima. Why aren't you having that same conversation with Andy?
That is true. But at the same time, she can't really have much of a say as far as who Fatima
Right.
gets involved with, and so she can complain all she wants. These grown women are going to do what they want to, but I think they still kept their loyalty to Karen as best as they can. But they just opened some things up to Fatima.
Well, the thing is, like she said, if Fatima wasn't dealing with Zach, they probably would be friends. And honestly, before Fatima got involved with Zach, when she was just Andy's co-worker, this was not even a conversation. It's only when Fatima got involved with Zach, and now everybody thinks she's cool. Now Karen has an issue with it. This all comes back to Zach.
Yeah, but that man, he made his choice.
Yep.
He's still going to be a father to her child, or to her child, and set up a trust fund and everything. It's just, I guess she's just not the woman for him. He said Fatima is, and she just has to live with it. And go be with Aaron.
Right. I mean, Aaron wants to be there. The thing is that Fatima was the woman that kind of breathed life into him when he was at his lowest. So when, all this volatility that was going on between Karen and Zach way back when, and all they used to do was be toxic and fight, and he was at the airport making, a average wage and things like that. She thought he was pretty much dusty, a trash dude, all that type of thing, right? Well, when
That's him.
right, and so when she was officially done with him, he didn't have pretty much a pot to piss in, and I had a bicycle. He had no car, no nothing. Fatima came along, ran into him on his bike, and she, from that point on, it's been history. She gave him a job working a construction site. She breathed life into him. They were attracted to each other. He couldn't believe that there was a woman that could support him at his lowest. And I think that's why he's so attached to Fatima, because when Zach always tried to come up, Karen always pulled him down. And then when he did level up, when he got the stock tip and the money and all that stuff and became a millionaire, now Karen wants to come around, and now she got issues. Yep.
Well, it's her own fault. I mean, look, she got at least one of her goals. She got him as one of the fathers of her children.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, but there's a whole other man who is excited to be a father, who wants to be there for both of the twins, be there for her, buying strollers, everything. And she's not even giving this man an opportunity. But so mad at Danni. Well, I guess she's okay now, but she was so mad at Danni over a paternity test because she wanted Zach to just be the father of both of the kids. Like for it's unnerving how she's mad at certain people but gives a lot of other people grace. Like, why is she giving Pam all this grace?
Yeah, her mama. Did you hear her mama on the phone trying to tell her about
Yes,
her? I mean, she running
using
a whole business inside of the business, and you ain't. The girl is struggling trying to keep the place. Because remember last week the woman was calling her, asking for her rent money, but she up in there running a business within her business.
exactly, and not even giving this woman a cut.
Nope.
And why is she still there as an employee? So you're still paying this woman who's basically making money up underneath you.
I know. Hi, Aisha. She says, "Hey, is the team of Dawn on BT?" I don't know, girl. I'm not sure. Yes, Karen is crazy.
They're all crazy.
They all
Andy's crazy.
crazy.
They lost their minds.
I mean, I like the fact that she was able to hash it out, but Karen got to get it together. You know what they say? You can't be acting a certain way when you're pregnant because your kids might come out that way too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but,
But she,
huh?
I was gonna say she's been pregnant for a couple years or a couple seasons. Let me say that.
Oh, God, a couple. That girl been pregnant since season 2 or 3.
And but I will give her credit that she at least is showing at least a sign of maturity. At least this episode. That's as far as I can
Mm-hmm.
give her. But
Okay, so Aisha said, "Is the baby not Zach?" Well, they had a paternity test, and she gets with being pregnant with twins. One of them is Aaron's baby, and the other one is Zach's baby. She had a whole alphabet soup in her uterus. So,
yep. And they both won the lottery.
and they both won the lottery. Yep, it was a tie.
And she was so mad and so bitter about that, treating Aaron like crap last week, and he put her in check. But
Man,
I'm hoping that she'll at least get Aaron a chance since he wants to be the father, at least of both of those kids. But now she got two baby fathers.
girl, she wants something that she cannot have. She's been trying to fight to get back with Zach ever since he came into all that money. And Aaron, he's the preacher man. I mean, he got a little bit of history, because his wife unalived herself right in front of her her beauty salon, the old beauty salon, and all that stuff. But this guy, he helps other people, he coaches other people, and he's trying to be there for her and buying all this stuff, and she just don't want that. It's like, girl, take him and go on down the road somewhere.
And just be happy he gives a damn, because some men don't.
Girl, just crazy. Just crazy, crazy, crazy. Now let's talk about Tiffany and Danni.
I
Girl,
told you last week,
mm-hmm.
she's going to use that excuse to try to get her family back.
Girl, she had a whole now because there's another conversation we're gonna have to talk about too. Is the
Mm-hmm.
conversation between Danni and Tony? All right, but we'll get there. But that first conversation, first of all, she barged up in our house because Danni was standing at that door and the girl just came on in. I'm like, excuse me. I would have grabbed her by the arm and put her right back outside that door. You don't come up in nobody's
Yeah,
house.
that was disrespectful. Now, I can understand if she was a parent who was mad, but still show respect because you still don't know this woman. You don't know what she has in her house for you to just feel you have the right to do that.
And she keep calling this man her husband. And Danny had to keep reminding, that's your ex-husband. Oh, well, we've been married 11 years. But you're now divorced.
Exactly. That was a mutual decision y'all both made.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a divorce decree. So you cannot no longer claim this man as your husband anymore.
Girl, shoot. And Danny was like, you're not finna come take my man. She was like, watch and see. Because he loves his kids. Go ahead.
And I knew she was going to say that too.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to throw that in her face.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So she's going to use them kids as a way to break them two up. She going to either probably tell one of her kids that something happened. Go tell your daddy that when you was at Danny's house, this what happened and that's what happened and all this kind of stuff. She going to use them kids against their relationship.
I think she's going to use those kids. I don't think she's going to bring up Danny at all. I think she's going to say, or to have the kids say that they want their family back together.
That's true. That could go that way.
Because the way those kids were happy at the dinner last week, mm-hmm. I think it wouldn't take much for those kids to say that. And she knows that. It's just a matter of Tony is going to want to pursue that or move forward. He left that door open by spending the time with them as a whole family. And as I keep saying, you leave that door open, cracked for a woman, she going, depending on her intentions, she's going to walk right into it.
Yep. Aisha, okay, so I'm trying to remember. Season 7 started in, I think it was February or March. Am I correct, Bree?
I believe so.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago.
Right. Because there was a mid-season break, and it started up, I think, last month or in May. But we had a mid-season break, and then it started back up in either May or June. So, yeah, girl, you got to catch up. You got a lot to catch up in this past 18 episodes. But, keep watching us. We're going to continue to chat about it. Go ahead, Bree.
It's been a lot of fun to watch. But Danni, this is why we keep saying regarding Danni, why is she involved with this man? And because this could also be the result that could happen, where this woman will want to put her family back together. That's a risk you take sometimes when you get involved with a man with kids, and also vice versa. When men get involved with women with kids, you don't know how that other person may feel, and that could affect things.
Yep, I agree with that. Oh, did we talk about the fact that Pam came up to Danny's job? Now, she struck it well with, what's that lady name in the middle? Miss
Marie?
Miss Marie. Yeah, she hit it off with Miss Marie, but I think that was inappropriate.
It was an unnecessary scene, in my opinion. I cannot stand Pam. This is like, she is the most unprofessional person who's getting all this grace, all this leeway to show the people's jobs, promote her brand, all of this, and they're okay with it. And Hayden called it out right. Like, get your hood rat friend up out of here, because that's how she's acting. This craziness. And I was surprised that Miss Marie I think Marie just wants any attention that's thrown her way. So when that girl was giving her compliments, she was like, oh, okay, I like her. That's fine. But I'm professional. I'm ladylike. Just ratchet.
I think she also liked how feisty Pam was, because she was telling Hayden off, and she was like, "Ooh, I think I like her way she, she's just as feisty as Miss Marie."
She's just no. I like Miss Marie. She's feisty. Pam is just annoying. I would put her on mute, because the way that she's disrespected Karen, and Karen is just allowing that, for several episodes now. I don't understand what her purpose is, unless later down the line she's going to have a big fall. But like everything is just coming up roses for this woman, and I don't understand why people are not calling her out on her behavior besides Hayden.
Yeah,
And and Karen's mother.
Yeah, Aisha, yes, she's getting a lot of scenes this season. As she started her own, what is it, skincare business or something? Edges and
Edges from was it Rags to Riches or something? Edge to Riches, something like that.
right, and so they're giving her a lot more scenes. Karen moved to a new salon, so yeah, if you catch up with this particular season, you'll see everything.
And she's a mess every single episode of season 7.
Yes, she is. All right, let's talk about the conversation between Tony and Danni. So, Tony is like, you need not to leave your stuff around. And Danni was like, why don't you teach your kids not to be, taking people's stuff? Do you think both of them were right or one or the other?
They're both right, because that little girl had no business. No matter where that girl is at, she is old enough to know not to take grown people's stuff. Let me say that.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, if Danni continued to date Tony and she is okay watching his kids, then she would have to kind of just be aware not to have her products and stuff out or accessible for kids to get to. Otherwise, she could easily just say, no, I'm not going to watch your kids, and not let it be a problem. But she said yes to Tony. So I feel they're both right.
Okay. I mean, I guess, yeah, you would, if you know you got kids coming to your house, you would child-proof the house. And at the same time, Tony needs to tell, because I remember when we was coming up, and my parents said when you either go into the store or you go to people's house, you don't touch nothing.
Right.
Don't touch anything that ain't yours. And yeah, I mean, she, she had a vape pen out and her handcuffs out, but at the same time, she had to know them kids was coming over. But at the same time, your kids shouldn't be touching other people's stuff. It ain't
I agree, but she made it her business to say yes to this man, knowing this was the result that happened with kids. That's why I don't understand why she's with this man.
Yeah, Aisha, it comes on. It just went off on. It comes on Wednesday night every Wednesday. I don't know what time zone you're in. So if you're in the Eastern or the Central time zone, it comes on at 8 Eastern, 9 Central on BET. So I don't know if you have it on cable or if you're doing it through an app, streaming app or something like that, on demand or something. But yes, it comes on BET 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
Yep, I use
Miami. She in Miami.
Oh, okay. I'm in Orlando.
Yep. So, anywho, yeah, like you said, Bree, them two do not belong together. They're ill matched lifestyle wise. Now they probably have compatibility. They enjoy spending time with each other. They like to date, but their lives are ill matched. She's a woman in her 30s, no children. She's been living her life the way she has. He's a divorcee with 2 kids that he have custody of.
Yeah.
And an ex-wife that's back in town.
Yeah, they're going to have to, and I will appreciate that the ex-wife had kind of brought up, how are you guys even going to go the distance? That's a question that Danni really needs to ask Tony, because Danny's ex-wife isn't going anywhere. They have kids together. Hell, she was spending the nights over at his mom's house.
Right.
So it's a matter of Danni wants to continue forward with that. If not, then she needs to go ahead and make a break because his ex-wife is not going to stop.
Yeah, and think about it. How old are those kids, would you say? About 7, 8 years old? Maybe a little bit older?
I would say like between like 8 and 10.
So they still, even up to age 18 and even beyond that, because parents still go to college graduations, kids' weddings, things like that. Just in the scope of being through the age of 18, they still got anywhere from 8 to 10 years to co-parent. She's going to be around for a while.
Yep.
Unless she goes back to the military and she's deployed, or she gives up and find a new man. But right now, she's trying to get Tony back. So.
Yeah, I don't see this lasting long. I mean, I actually like Tony. Tony makes an honest living. I don't like the fact that he lets this woman get away with everything over at the airport, but yeah, I guess. But he's been honest up front about everything that he has going on, and she's accepted it.
Yep.
So she has to decide if long term this is going to work for her.
Yep.
Which I don't think it would.
Nope. And somebody else that I don't think is going to work long term for is Sabrina. Now that guy, and I forgot his name.
Rich. Or the new guy.
No. The new guy that was interviewing her.
Oh, what is his name? I loved him.
That guy is interested in her.
Yes. Because Rich is who she's dealing with now. But I can't think what his name is. It starts with a D, though.
It's not David or Daryl.
It's something. It's not. It starts with a D, though. Derek, maybe?
Well, let's just call him D for right now.
Yeah.
So, So D came up to the bank, and he was like, and Maurice is being silly as ever, saying that he was Sabrina. But after that humor died down, he said, hey, I want to interview you. I want to get to know you and do this article, and maybe you can meet me for dinner. And I'm like, where are they going with this? Then it really was apparent when he got to dinner and started asking her if she was single. And whether or not she had any kids. And he talking about, I want a big family. I'm like, oh, here we go.
And you know what? They would fit. I'm perfectly fine with it. That's a very handsome man. And I think that she needs to go with a man who wants children. I don't think that, like, the thing that she has with Rich is expired, in my opinion. It's like spoiled milk at this point. He keeps reiterating, this is not something I want. And when Rich showed up to the dinner and she brought that up, she looked at him really trying to guilt trip this man.
Yeah, I mean, that's another that's a core value. Somebody that want kids and the other person that don't want kids, y'all gonna be tiptoeing around each other and freaking out just in case somebody get pregnant or not. Which is why he was freaking out a couple weeks ago about the condom breaking or whatever happened to it.
Right. And I guess she's not pregnant.
No. But we saw in that preview that he actually might be interested in being the donor.
I don't understand why. And he said it was a brave thing for her to do. No, she is just not choosing the right men to have a family with. This is expense all in itself. Money that she doesn't even have. She got that $10,000 from her friend Andy to pursue this because she, I guess, feels like she's not going to find the right man at any time. I mean, girl, you're in Atlanta of all places. That's your first mistake. But if this man, if Mr. D, if he is interested in her and interested in being a donor, why can't they just put them together and have a relationship, get married, and actually do the right thing and have a family?
You would think. I mean, Bree, it couldn't get no simpler. And if she's thinking, well, I gotta have somebody, and I'm really compatible, or have a connection, you know, with what's his name? I forgot just that fast.
Rich.
With Rich. But you don't, because this is gonna always rear its ugly head when it look how they were looking at the table. Cause the D asked them, well, first of all, Rich came over there being jealous, thinking that she was seeing another man for dinner, and she had to explain that. But once that whole thing calmed down, he was like, so she tells me that you and her are try for a baby, and she had to go through and explain, well, I want children, and he don't want children. You know how crazy she need to be with somebody like D.
Yeah. Who's at least even offering
And he's
to be a
interested.
donor. Yes, I'm like, just date and just get married, do the whole, go through the process. I don't understand like what she wants to do, like this a la carte sort of family planning. I do not get that. There's nothing wrong with saying no to Rich if he doesn't want to have the future that she wants to have.
And then here's the other thing: she'll save thousands of dollars because this guy here, obviously, he's attracted to her and interested in her, and he wants kids. They would just naturally sleep together, and hopefully, she end up with a child. That would save
Right.
her injecting herself, and no shots to anybody who want to go through IVF, because this is very helpful for people who are trying to, couples that are trying to conceive because of, biological circumstances. But in this
Right.
particular scenario on this show, it would save her time, money, sticking herself and injecting herself with needles to go through all of this process when she can find a guy like D who is interested in her, want children. They could maybe build a connection, start the date. It gets to a point where they have, okay, we want to have kids, whatever we're going to do. And they both on the same page. Rich can go find somebody who don't want to have kids.
Yeah, like Danni.
Yep.
I'll never understand that. But and the thing is, that's the only thing that I don't like about Sabrina is the fact that she knows that Rich is not the right man. But like, why are you trying to keep him around? It's like, it feels like these women are trying to hang on to any man in Atlanta right now.
Right. It's like, shoot, it's a slim. In their mind, they thinking that it's slim pickings out here. I guess if he's a little piece of something, I'll hold on to that. He's nice, even though he don't want kids. Danny is like, well, he's nice, but he got an ex and some children. I guess it's like, I mean, yeah, it's crazy. And I'm just hoping that they do take the direction, because the guy is willing to be a donor. Now the other problem is Tyler going to make this a situation where um, this guy D becomes a problem, because he could be saying he want to be a donor now, and then changes his mind, and then decides that he wants in the child's life, and she's still dealing with Rich.
Yeah. But that's going to be her own problem. She can really simplify it by just letting Rich go, especially since he was freaked out about getting her pregnant. That should be more indication that she can't guilt trip this man. There's nothing more that you can say that she can say to change his mind. It's nothing that he does not want a child. End of story.
Nope. And that's what they need to stick with. I mean, because other than that, they're going to be walking on eggshells in that bedroom.
Yep.
And who wants to do that?
He knows that she's doing the hormone therapy. I'm like, Rich, why are you putting yourself at risk to get this girl pregnant?
Right.
That's insane to me.
And the fact, and then, like I said, going back through all that other stuff she's trying to do to herself, just dude right in front of you. Talk to him. See what he seemed like. He's right on, right now, he seemed like a nice guy and whatnot. Does Tyler Perry write this? It doesn't make sense. That's what they
Yeah,
say
but I mean,
about all his shows.
but I do like the fact that they brought this new man in. I hope that Sabrina shifts her romantic prospects over to him and just leave Rich to be by himself or with somebody else.
I will tell you this, Bree. Out of the four of them, Danny and Andy and Sabrina has had several men, several suitors come to be in her presence compared to the rest of them. Now, I mean, Andy, of course, had Gary, Jordan, and Robin.
Mm-hmm.
And Danny had Preston and that crazy man that tried to traumatize her. But Sabrina, she's had the African guy. She's had, of course, this guy coming along. She's had Calvin. And I think there was a couple of others. So she's had a little bit more of opportunities than the other ladies have.
And she's still having to go through fertility
Because
process.
to her, none of those other men was right. Calvin was a little bit more open with his sexuality than what was comfortable for her.
Mm-hmm.
Preston, Preston was going back and forth because he wanted a commitment. Oh, I'm thinking about Danny. I'm sorry. Um, the African guy. Now the African guy, he was extremely ultra traditional. However, he didn't like Maurice. It was something he didn't like his lifestyle. That was a whole problem for her.
Okay.
And he actually gave her $1.2 million to bail herself out of jail. Well, no,
Oh
bail
wow.
Maurice out of jail. Yeah, even though he did not like his lifestyle, he still gave her the money to help get him out of jail.
And this is the man that she didn't feel would be a good father to her child because she felt he has too many traditional values that she can get along with.
She didn't like the fact of how he responded to Maurice's lifestyle. That was the biggest issue. So,
So, so it
hmm
was an opinion. I mean,
well,
I
the way
understand.
that
I
the
understand.
show kind of featured the guy as being a phobe. I'll just say it like that because I
Okay.
gotta watch the channel, but that's how they
Mm-hmm.
kind of directed him to him. Of course, they were done. Both Calvin and Sabrina pretty much said no. Mm-mm.
Well, I mean, I guess it is what it is,
Yeah, it is
but
what it
she's still
is.
making she's making a poor decision with Rich, so it's not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I hope that with Mr. D that she goes in that direction, especially since he wants kids and also wants her. It's a win-win.
Yeah, yeah. I just let's see what she do. She might just use that dude as a donor and then stay in that relationship with Rich. But here's the other problem. Even if Rich don't get her pregnant and she get a donor, or use this guy or anybody else, if they're gonna be in a relationship, he's gonna feel the effects of her being a mother.
Yep.
So not necessarily him watching the kid, but right now they're two single individuals with no responsibilities. If he say, "Hey, let's go take a trip," she got a newborn, and it ain't his.
Right.
So,
And that's the risk that she's taking with that
mm-hmm,
because she can't expect for him to be obligated to be the father to her child because he can up and leave and she's stuck with that child, the child that she wanted.
mm-hmm, and
He's made it clear that he doesn't want to be the father to that child. And I keep going back to being Mary Jane. It's like I feel like Tyler is rewriting the end of that series where Michael Ealy was raising the the child that Mary Jane went through in vitro for. Like
exactly.
it's not going to be that same happy ending. It's not going to happen that way.
Not at all. So it's like you say, she's doing an a la carte to her dating relationships, and it's just All that you're doing, you tiptoeing around the bedroom with Rich, you doing the injections, and you're looking for sperm donors and things like that. Hopefully, Mr. D, manifests himself to say, hey, you
Mhm.
know what, I'm interested in you. I like to get to know you further. Maybe you should be in a relationship that align with the same things that you're looking for. I'm not trying to
Mhm.
break up your current relationship, but how are you going to manage that and bring a child into this? It's not going to work. He don't want his own child, and probably not going to want to deal with somebody else's, whether the kid know his father or not.
Exactly.
You know,
So that.
it's just a no. It's just a lose situation. Eventually, somebody's gonna resent the other because she's gonna get mad when he's not coming around as much, and he's gonna not be happy because she's gonna be always trying to deal with a child when he's free to
Yeah.
do what he wants.
Yeah. And she has to realize that man can up and leave whenever he chooses to. He's not financially obligated. He's making it very clear he doesn't want to deal with her any children. So if she were to get pregnant, what makes her think that he's going to stay during her pregnancy and after?
Exactly. So I just, between the whole Tony thing and Danny with her and them kids, that's a lot to walk into. Male or female, it's a lot to walk into. And we are seeing it on the reverse in this case with Danny. Because, I mean, she's trying to maintain. She's being very, um, she's trying to work with this, with the situation, with dealing with his children. There's the children's mother, his ex-wife. She want him back. She went from pretty much being solo dolo to an instant family and dealing with the baby mama.
And that's her choice. And she can
Yep.
up and leave that too.
Yep. Yep. And then with the situation, because all three of them were friends, Rich, Jordan, and Tony. They all went to college together. And if you remember that scene, that's how they met and they got on the bus and all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they all got issues. Jordan's issue is Andy. He really don't have any issues. Andy is his problem.
Yep. Once again, another choice, another poor decision.
Yeah, because with Andy comes Gary.
The
And
man that
Gary,
she still wants.
yeah, and Gary always interfere with any relationships that she's in. When she was dating Paris, he interfered with that. When she was with Robin, he interfered with that. Now with Jordan, he interfering with that. Danny, unless when not Danny, when Andy gets into a relationship, she got baggage, and it's called the backpack of Gary.
And whatever happens with her, I don't feel sorry for her whatsoever. At the same time, I don't really care for her to be with Jordan either. And that was, and maybe
Jordan.
it's who's playing him.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of just not like making me invested, but it's mostly just Andy's behavior. Especially when it comes to Gary and how she's been moving and wanting to do everything secretly to try to bring Gary down, even though she knows the type of power this man has. So that was always doomed to fail. And the way that show ended, with her going to this man
Mm-hmm.
and being like, I know we're not working. I think we should end things. I'm so sorry. I love you and all, and you've been great to me, but I cannot do this.
Jordan is
And
gonna,
that stupid look on his face. That stupid
girl.
look on his face.
Jordan is gonna realize that his life is gonna be a whole lot more peaceful with her not in it,
Yep.
because Gary is a whole problem.
And he's still got those photos and those videos of Jordan, those
Mm-hmm.
stage photos of like the male prostitutes, female prostitutes, every type of prostitute that he can still leak, even though he's gonna get Andy next week's episode.
Yeah.
So to really try to make sure that she doesn't go back to him. That's why Andy's a whole fool, and I cannot.
And the thing is, she's been doing this song and dance for the last 7 seasons. I mean, the girl has been through it with Gary, and she up until this season, she couldn't get that man out of her system. She can't get Gary out of her system.
She can't get out of Gary's apartment either.
Or his car.
His
She
car.
still got that Rolls Royce too.
Yeah, she loves this attention. That's why what happens to her is what happens to her. She could have went the correct way to proper authorities. Penelope could have still had her baby. She has just made probably the poorest decisions out of all the characters on the show. And she's supposed to be the smart one, this super attorney and everything. That's why Miss Marie might be done with her after next week. Because she's not reliable. She's spreading herself thin and is not making smart choices.
Yep. And now she got to parade Gary around town just to appease him, to keep him from ruining her life and all this kind of stuff. Shoot. Penelope and Jordan, y'all might have some peace now that she done moved away from y'all.
They had barely touched on what happened to Penelope, except that she was alive and that she's working with the FBI. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, she was on the phone with her today. Remember, Andy was like, "Can you talk? Is it safe?" And all that other kind of stuff. But yeah, Jordan, and I don't know this actor, but the first Jordan that they had, I think he was much better. But obviously, he went to different projects. But this guy is totally different from the original Jordan.
Oh, I see the difference. And the lack of chemistry and everything. And like I said, not ragging on the actor. It's just,
it's not there.
It's clearly a difference. Nope. It's just not there.
Nope. And then Tamara, girl. Tamara come up in there trying to get her some D from Gary. And he was like, "I can have you anytime I want you, but right now I need you to get out." She's talking about don't play with me. I'm like, Tamara, what you gonna do? I know you got pictures. But
Gary has some pictures of his own too. He's making his way back to Andy, so he's not even concerned with what Tamara might have to say, or worried about Hayden or anything like that. This is why I keep saying she's used good. She's spoiled goods, and this is as good as it gets with Tamara.
Aisha, you'll find out about Tamara in season 7. Tamara is Hayden's girl it's a whole story behind that. So Hayden was always after Fatima because they slept together once in their far history. Or went on a date or something. I don't even I'm trying to remember if I even need to go that far. But Hayden never got over Fatima. And so when he found out that Zach and Fatima were an item, he was pissed off about it. And he tried everything in his power to undermine that relationship. Well, Fatima got the bright idea to call her cousin, which is Madam, who's on the show, was it Queen? All the Queen's Men's. And tell her to send somebody that is a 304. Send a 304. Were you still there?
I'm still here.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me cut the speaker on because I don't know what happened. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So, Fatima, Aisha. Yeah, exactly. The 304. Exactly. She actually got a job up there, and then her job was to get up underneath Hayden and take him for what he had. But instead, she ended up falling for him. They got engaged and all this kind of stuff. And there's a lot of other history behind that. And that's who Tamara is. So Yeah, I had to kind of catch you. I had to catch
And
you up,
she's
Aisha. Go ahead.
and she's still a 304. Nothing has changed. She's still used goods, spoiled goods, and that's why she feels she can. She feels that she's playing both Hayden and Gary like a fiddle. Like no, Hayden is screwing Miss Marie,
Mm-hmm.
who's a whole billionaire, and Gary wants to be up underneath Andy, smelling her underwear and listening to other men describe what she's wearing
Right.
as he's getting off.
Exactly. And he already, by the way, had one woman, which is Jordan's sister, pregnant by him because he was dating or engaged to her for 3 years up until that point. And Andy and the
Yeah,
rest of the girls had no idea that he was in a whole separate relationship with Penelope. I was
Penelope
going to
and
say Poppy. Penelope.
well, different type of Penelope there.
Right.
But yeah, and then he unalived his child with Penelope.
Right. Yep. So she's in federal custody, protection, whatever it's called, to try to, take Gary down. But Miss Girlfriend that's crying on the screen, Andy was going to also testify against him alongside Penelope. And he found out about that. And that's why he threatened, that was one of the reasons why he threatened her too, because he wanted to ruin her because she wanted to ruin him by testifying with the feds.
And her stupid behind is living in the house that he paid for to where everything is bugged. That's how he found out about that whole conversation.
Exactly. Aisha must watch Bold. She said we on B&B. You one of our Bold watchers, okay?
So you heard us earlier this evening too.
I think because I said I was about to say Poppy instead of Penelope.
Yeah. Those are two different Penelopes.
Right.
They move completely different.
Yep. So, oh my God, Bree, we covered a lot. I mean, I think the biggest thing we talked about was the whole thing with Danni and Sabrina and then Andy. So,
Yeah.
Karen is Karen. Karen get on my nerves.
I can't stand Karen or Pam. I'm glad that they cohabitate together in that salon that's about to fail.
No. Oh, Lord. How many people showed up in the chat? Can you tell?
Yeah, we got quite a few people. Six that's live in the chat. I know usually the replay is going to have a lot more people,
Did
but
you
we
say
really
6?
appreciate it. Uh-huh.
Okay, cool. Cool. Well, I'm glad you guys stopped by. Make sure you follow if you are a newbie here, because we do this every Wednesday night after the episode, and we talk live about what went down on Sistas. So, yeah, make sure you join us over here. We also do other daytime soaps as well. Oh, thank you, Aisha. I really appreciate you. I'm glad that you enjoyed the podcast.
Thank you.
Yep, and so we do daytime soaps over here as well. Looking forward to The Gates, which is an African American soap opera coming on CBS as of January 1st, 2025. So we'll have quite a few things to talk about over here on this channel. So again, the few of you that are here or listen to us on replay, make sure that you subscribe so you can make sure you check out this live every week. Gotcha.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, you welcome, Aisha. And yeah, catch up with us every week and get a chance to enjoy everything. So, Bree, did you have anything else? I think we covered everything for tonight's episode.
No, I'm just looking excited to see what's going to happen at that party and Gary in that Mr. Rogers sweater he had on.
Girl, he came up in there like he does own the place. I would say he came up in there like he owned the place. Well, he does.
Yeah, exactly. And that's Andy's stupid behind, too.
Man, listen. Well, first of all, Rich and Tony should be pissed off because Andy broke up with their friend. Now he don't know. I don't know if they're gonna know why, but that's gonna be interesting to see their reaction because all of them are a friend group as well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So she gonna have some splaining to do.
They need to figure out their own personal issues before they worried about Andy. But I understand though.
Tell me about it. All right, you guys, have a great night. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. And until then, we will see you guys next week. Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.